Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Keystone Home Inspections, Reed Plumbing, the Iowa Rush Soccer Club, 72 Degrees, your comfort company, the Sassy Flower Bakery, Trading Corporation, West 40 Market, Nolte & Sons Lawn and Irrigation, Rod Brannon with Shelter Insurance, the New York Life offices of Josh Cowart, Dr. Brett Renzi and Health First Chiropractic, U.S. Cellular, the Helpful Smiles of Hy-Vee, Dr. Christy Semro with iMart Express, and Springer Floor Care.
Everything we do is here to benefit the client. Every decision that's needed to be made, the first question you should ask is, does this benefit the client, and is this the best thing for the client?
Our goal is to make a difference. We have the tools, resources, training, and leadership to make a difference in our agents' lives and their careers. And then they can then take that to make a difference in their clients' lives and ultimately make a difference in our communities.
We are available basically 24/7 to make sure that our agents are getting the support they need to look like $1 million in front of their clients.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Fiscus Jewelers, Rainbow of the Heartland, the all-new Prairie Trail Sports Complex, All-Star Concrete, the Zoom Room, Knockerball 118, Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, and Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel.
West 40 Market in Uptown Ankeny is your place to shop for the best meats, steaks, brats, jerky, and everything in between. Let us be your one-stop shop for all your favorite cuts, all raised on local Iowa farms. Shopping local never tasted so good.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Nick Jarash Fitness, Weicker Realtors, the 515 Agency, Ted Sandine Photography, Extreme Services, Sinorama Ankeny, and Amy Wiederin with Coldwell Banker.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Jarash Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching, we have the best technology, we have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
welcome back to Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire, here today on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Andy Pollack and Kevin Fisher with you. Cash Von Bali directing the show. Ellie Pollack, Bella Anderson on the cameras. And we've got Davis County, Class 3A, number 4 team here. They're in Ankeny for a doubleheader today. They just got done playing the Hawks, hopped in their vehicles, and came on up here to play us. So ready to go here in a minute as they just quickly announce their starting lineups through. We're waiting on the umpires to start our conference down there as well right now. And Davis County coming off a 10-0 5-inning loss down at Ankeny. The Jaguars are coming off a got to remember back now, 13-1, I believe was the score. I didn't write it down.
Yes, 13-1.
I didn't write it down. So, yeah, they're coming off that right now over Esterville Lincoln Central, as that game just got over as well, and they went down to the south side to play Ankeny. So that's how we're handling things today in this invitational, as the coaches are down there talking with the coaches and the umpires as they set up the ground rules here. And Coach, as we look at this right now, it looks like everything's going to ride on the arm of Madeline Barker for Davis County.
Yeah, Madeline seems to, she is the workhorse for the team. Has 168 strikeouts this year. She has about 95% of the innings pitched so far this year, so she is probably going to be throwing a lot of pitches out there again today. I don't know what she did down the south side, but I'm guessing they saved her for this game here, and she'll be a tough competitor out there on the field for them.
She might be throwing both of them, actually. We'll see. She might have thrown both. I'm not sure how all that will transpire. The Jaguars may have a little bit different looking lineup here in game number 2. Well, we already know they have a little different looking lineup as they get ready to go here. They're going to have it'll be Jaden Stair coming in to pitch, which is good news to see her back, coming off a little bit of an illness, but she's out there with a smile on her face, ready to go right now. And then we'll wait and see, because I know there's some other things. Addie Starr, who was caught before, will be out there catching. And then we've got Sydney Morris back at the third base spot, so rather than switching around Morris and Kennedy, they will have those two over there back to kind of a spot that they each have used to play. And Peyton Drefke will be at short, Cora Boyle at second, Maddie Ott out in left field, the freshman. The senior Mackenzie James is out in center, and McKenna Vallejo, I believe, was it McKenna Vallejo starting? There's two Vallejos, so it is McKenna that is starting out in right field. And we'll see how this lineup transpires here in game number 2 tonight. Probably the biggest change is Mariah Belzer, who's had just an outstanding senior year here for the Jaguars, including hitting almost 400. She'll be batting in this lineup today, but not playing shortstop. Possibly a chance to have a glimpse towards the future, as Peyton Drefke has always been playing in the outfield for the Jaguars, but has also kind of been that one that's being groomed to be that future shortstop.
Yep. Yeah, she has gotten some time there at various points in the past, and looks like they're just giving Mariah a little bit of a break here for this game, and let her play the DP position and take a little rest. She's been involved in some contact plays, you would say, over the last few games, so give her a chance to rest a little bit.
Sophia Young plays center field for the Mustangs. She bats .394, and she'll be the leadoff batter. That's over to Drefke right away. They test her arm, and on the first pitch of the game, Peyton Drefke shakes off the rust at that shortstop spot as she whips it across the infield to Jordan Kennedy and gets out number 1. Good one to get out of the way there for
Peyton. As I was looking through numbers, Sophia's led off with 7 home runs this year. Not led off. She has 7 home runs on the season, but good leadoff hitter.
That pitch is grounded over to Jordan Kennedy, and she's going to step on the bag. So 2 pitches and 2 outs right now for Jaden Stair, who's coming off a little bit of an illness, and that certainly helps her get things rolling right now if she can keep her pitch count down today and slowly work into this one.
Yeah, good start there. 2 pitches, 2 outs. That's pretty efficient.
And now the pitcher, Madeline Barker, up to bat for Davis County, the Mustangs. She watches that first pitch a little bit low for ball 1. Stair, senior pitcher for the Jaguars. Part of just a stable of great pitchers they've got here right now. 1 of 5. WHO did a nice story on them the other day. Highlighted all of them. There's 2 seniors, a junior, a freshman, and an 8th grader who I think they feel pretty comfortable with. They could go with it any time. That pitch is hacked foul over there by Barker. Barker will be the pitcher for Davis County, and head coach Zach Dunleavy.
Barker, I think, is second in the team in hits this season. Not only she dishes it out on the mound, she dishes it out at the plate too.
That one is fouled off once again. She's definitely on top of that pitch from Stair. Stair a year ago had a lot of outings. This year with all the pitchers they've got, she's been able to stay a little fresher out there. As she looks down at the 1-2 count. Off-speed pitch misses just a little bit low on the drop change. 18-1 is Davis County. They are out of the South Central Conference. They're an 11-1 team in the South Central Conference, ranked currently number 4 in Class 3A as Stair goes testing that inside corner. And that is a ball as well, so now the count is loaded to Madeline Barker. 492 hitter. And Stair works that outer edge of the plate. Gets Barker looking. Strikeout number 1. So 3 up, 3 down for the Mustangs here in the top of the first. We head to the Jaguar half and be back right after this on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Drosh Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
Everything we do is here to benefit the client. Every decision that's needed to be made, the first question you should ask is, does this benefit the client, and is this the best thing for the client?
Our goal is to make a difference. We have the tools, resources, training, and leadership to make a difference in our agents' lives and their careers. And then they can then take that to make a difference in their clients' lives and ultimately make a difference in our communities.
We are available basically 24/7 to make sure that our agents are getting the support they need to look like $1 million in front of their clients.
And we're back here on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire. Andy Pollack, the coach. Kevin Fisher here with me on the color commentary for today. Cash Von Bali running the board. Ellie Pollack and Bella Anderson on the cameras for us here today on what is a warm summer day on the north side of Ankeny, early on in the summertime here. Mackenzie James leading things off for the Jaguars. The senior center fielder watches that first pitch catch the outside part of the zone. James batting over 400 here in this, her senior campaign, up against Madeline Barker, outstanding pitcher, senior for Davis County. She has a .72 earned run average. That pitch misses outside for ball 1. Evens up the count at 1 apiece. We'll have state umpire Mark Amadeo will be joining us at some point in the second inning to chat about a few things. The pairings were out today. It'll be curious to get his take on things. Mackenzie James, and that is a see you later for Mackenzie James, a leadoff batter. The leadoff batter for the Jaguars goes yard for the 5th time this season. She got all of that one.
Certainly did. Just another good piece of batting there to lead off there for Mackenzie. Squared it up. And there was no doubt about that one.
Number 5 on the season, and that'll bring up Peyton Drefke, and not much better way to gather momentum than leading off the game with a home run, and Mackenzie James has done that several times this year. As Drefke watches the screwball come inside.
I think of the 5, I think that's 3 leadoff home runs for Mackenzie.
It's a great way to start the game. 1-0 Jags here in the bottom of the first, nobody out. Drefke watches that pitch down in the dirt for ball 1. Here's the 1-1. And Drefke got all of that one. That's a deep shot to left field, and it is just foul off the top of the fence. Great camera work there by Ellie and Bella to catch that one. Great view for them down that left field wall as well. 1-2 the count to Drefke. Drefke hacks it over to shortstop, the high hop, and Drefke is safe over at first. That little high hop caught Cassidy Van Lanningham off guard just a little bit. It was just enough of a hitch. She never bobbled it or anything, but just enough of that throws the timing off and took a little zip off the throw. And Drefke, one of the faster Jaguars, able to get down the line in a hurry. And that'll bring up Jordan Kennedy, the 500-plus hitting freshman. And her first pitch is a long strike out into right field. So Peyton Drefke over on first base right now. Jordan Kennedy up to the plate. That pitch is upstairs. Hard lead over there from Drefke at first. So the Jaguars' batting order is going to be very similar to what it's been. You're going to have your normal 8 and a Vallejo added in. So very similar batting order that they've been using. Today it's McKenna. Well, the first game was Malin. This game it'll be McKenna. Same umpiring crew that we had in game number 1 today. 3-man crew. They've just all kind of shifted around. In this game, we've got Ron Taylor behind the plate, Phil Crease at first, and Tim Rogers over at third. Drefke goes this time, and that's a great shot by Jordan Kennedy. One hops it to the wall. Drefke's coming around. She's going to continue to come around. She's going to score. Drefke in at second with a stand-up double, and Jordan Kennedy's swing just kind of guided that softball where she wanted to take it.
Yeah, she's gotten to that point now where she's seeing the ball real well, hitting it well at the same time, and almost just kind of directed where she wanted to hit that ball. And when you get to that point, you're just doing everything's just kind of lining up. Everything's in sync and working out well.
So the Jaguars now have taken a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Home run by Mackenzie James, a single, and that's a line out there from Morris. But you had the homer from James to start it off, then a single from Drefke, and then a double off the wall for Kennedy. And now we bring up another one of those outstanding freshmen, Maddie Ott. Ott, we've seen her go yard several times this year. Watches that first pitch upstairs.
Yeah, she's catching up in the home run race there, isn't she? Where's she at this year? I just was going to take a peek at that. 5. She's at 5 now.
Jaguars as a team have been right up near the top of the state all season long in home runs. I was going to do a check on them quickly right now. It's kind of been them and Southeast Polk all season long. They do have the best batting average in the state at .377 as a team, the Jaguars do. Home runs, actually, Valley has taken the lead in that by a considerable margin. Valley has 34 home runs as a team. The Jaguars have, 30 now after today. So that's where we stand right now as Ott watches that pitch.
Yeah, we got a glimpse of some of that Valley power the other night. We know they're dangerous hitters, and it's one of those always been good hitting teams, and if you make a few mistakes, it just gets you in trouble sometimes.
That pitch is inside to Ott, and runner goes over there. Kennedy, I'm not sure she was. And now Ott's going to go to second base, takes the base there. So Jaguars off the steal. Ott draws the walk and then just makes her way there, and that'll put runners on second and third. And that's something the Jaguars have been much more aggressive, and I know that's a credit to assistant coach Rachel Whiteside this year, has moved up from the club level, but having her over there coaching first has really had the Jaguars much more aggressive on the base paths. And you've seen that.
I have seen that. I've seen it up close because just like you say, by being close to the team there with the travel ball there a few times and working with Coach Whiteside, usually that's where I was standing. And she was yelling me over from third base, telling me to send the runners.
That's a great shot by Mariah Belzer all the way out to the wall in right field. Belzer's going to come all the way around second, all the way into third, a stand-up triple for Belzer. And she put that over the head of the right fielder, and the Jaguars continue to tear the cover off the ball, and they lead 4-0 here in the bottom of the first with 1 out. Cora Boyle now steps up to the plate, another one of those players that we've talked about. Just the rising tide raises all ships, I think, or something like that. Raises all boats. I don't know. There we go as Boyle pops that one up, and that is going to be caught over there up against the fence over at first base by, is that Eddie Hobbs?
Yes.
No,
Husted.
excuse me, Husted over there.
Husted. Oh yeah, as you were saying there, Andy. Both Cora and backing up to Mariah there. Filling in a good spot there late in the batting order. They've done a great job this year.
Addie Starr pops that one up, and that's going to be trouble. And nice play. It is caught out there by the second baseman. That is Rachel McFarland, and that's a very nice catch by McFarland, going back over her head to make that play. So Jaguars, though, however, 4 runs off 4 hits here in the bottom of the first. A big old crooked number to get things started off for the Jaguars. Stairs heading back out to the circle, and we'll take a break and be back right after this on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom.
DeArmond certified used vehicles aren't the same as the rest.
Every DeArmond certified vehicle receives a 175-point inspection and comes with a 12-month, 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty, a 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and DeArmond Care. Wheel, dent, windshield repair, repel paint and windshield protection, and a full tank of fuel.
Buy with confidence, knowing you made a wise decision with DeArmond Certified.
Find DeArmond certified used vehicles at DeArmondFord.com.
Back here on the north side of Ankeny, Andy Pollock, Kevin Fisher here on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire, as we are watching the Jaguars put up a hitting exhibition today. They put up 13 runs on the Class 3A number 5 team in Game 1, and now against the 3A number 4 team. 4 hits off 4 runs in the bottom of the first, and takes a lot of pressure off your starting pitcher, Jaden Stair, when you get that much run support to start the game off.
Well, it's always a wonderful feeling to walk back out there in that second inning with a lead and a 4-0 lead at that. It's a mindset, I think, and it's a momentum thing for the team.
Kaylin Ollinger is up to bat right now for Davis County. See, they've got their radio station here set up with a stream today as well. I don't know exactly what that station is. Had a chance to talk with those guys ahead of time. They have a nice little setup that they bring with them here on the road. It is 3-0, though, the count right now to Ollinger. And there's the walk issued by Stair. And that will bring up Lainey Moore. Looks like we're going to have our first Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution here today. That'll be Addie McClure, sophomore, coming out to run at first. Courtesy running situation. And Moore steps back up to the plate. So Stair starts off this inning with a 4-pitch walk. There's a good pitch, gets the pop up. Jordan Kennedy over at first base, right up against the fence over on the right side, makes the play. Tough for you to see it, I know, with our camera positioning right there. Have to trust me on that she made the play. Trust the umpire after he signaled it.
That's right.
And that'll bring up Kaden Van Lanningham. She's a senior of the 2 Van Lanninghams. She watches that first pitch. Miss a little bit upstairs for ball 1. Just feel a little more comfortable with this defensive lineup right now with Kennedy back over at first base where she normally plays.
Mm-hmm.
Morris, she may be the one not as comfortable. She's playing third.
Not as much, but I've seen her play that position just, even maybe not so much in, in school ball, but in club ball when we played and switched turns. That was a position she played quite a bit when she wasn't catching.
Van Lanningham shows bunt. Stair picks it up and safe over there at first base as motoring down the line was Van Lanningham. It's a tough angle for a pitcher to get that and get rid of it that quickly.
It is, and it's one of those, your technique can be all the difference. You almost, when you're picking that ball up off the ground, you almost have to have your feet turned and set to the position or the directional you're thinking about throwing, and you take that extra step, and it's hard to get the runner.
So it is ruled a bunt single there for Caden Van Lanningham, and that now brings up Madison Dunleavy.
That's nothing against Jaden. It's just a tough position, as you say, to be in.
Stare after the first pitch strike, misses that pitch on the outside for ball one. So a walk and an infield hit. Has Davis County threatening here. There's a high chopper. Boyle picks it up and flips it over to Drefke, who can't haul it in. Almost a situation. I don't think Drefke was even ready for it. Boyle probably could have just stepped on the base. They were awfully close to each other.
Yeah, she was almost so close. It was. I think typically she's thinking flip it, the shortstop. Their traditional double play kind of look. And I think if she'd have looked over, she'd have realized she could have stepped on the bag just as easy as Peyton, and almost try to make a double play herself.
Hallie Husted now steps up to the plate for Davis County. She swings that one, and it is fouled off. Jaguars here after an infield hit and an error. That pitch is hacked out into right field and is caught out there by McKenna Vallejo. Nice catch, Vallejo covering a lot of ground. And that saved a run or a couple runs where that was hit to, but Vallejo gets a good jump on it, and the runners were going, so there are no tag-out situations either, or tag-up situations either.
Yeah, that worked out just well for the Jaguars there. Great play by Vallejo there out and right, and real good throw back in, but didn't have a runner to contest. As you said, she was retreating back to third base because she'd already ran down the line about a third of the way.
So Stare trying to work herself out of a little bit of a jam right now. This is Cassidy Van Lanningham. Steps up. She takes a swing at that first pitch, trying to get it down into the ground. Well, that's right now with bases loaded. That's exactly what you'll take right now. Have an opportunity to get that easy out at home.
Yeah.
Especially with 2 outs. Van Lanningham looks in. That pitch lays off that one from Stare. And the Mustangs are threatening here in the top of the second. Cassidy Van Lanningham swings on that one, and it is fouled over on the right side, just barely. That took a hop with some spin on it, and that was going to be a couple runs as the runners were rolling. There's going to be a couple runs coming around to score.
Definitely. It just about snuck over the top of the bag there down at first. Jordan was in and kind of playing a little bit a little more towards the pitcher's mound. Almost got snuck by her.
That pitch is fouled off over to the left side. So Stare like to get a strikeout here or some sort of ground ball. Get out of this inning. See the Jaguars outfield and the infield for that matter playing in quite a bit against the speedy Van Lanningham. It's lined over, and that's going to be a hit. And 1 run's coming around to score, and they're going to hold them there. So 1 run there for Davis County. Line shot there from Cassidy Van Lanningham. So 4-1 Jaguars, and back to the top of the order for Davis County. That pitch hacked over, and Drefke picks it up 2 times there. Drefke makes the play. She throws it across the first, so twice Drefke has knocked out the lead runner there with plays at shortstop. 4-1 the score, Jaguars in the lead. We'll be back right after this on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire.
West 40 Market in Uptown Ankeny is your place to shop for the best meats, steaks, brats, jerky, and everything in between. Let us be your one-stop shop for all your favorite cuts, all raised on local Iowa farms. Shopping local never tasted so good.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Nick Jarash Fitness, Weicker Realtors, the 515 Agency, Ted Sandine Photography, Extreme Services, Sinorama Ankeny, and Amy Wiederin with Coldwell Banker.
Scoring the official one in the dugout, do that. Back here, the bottom of the second, leading off for the Jaguars is McKenna Vallejo. Saw her make a nice play out in right field in that last inning. Left-handed slapper steps up, digs in, puts the bunt down, and she's going to quickly get down the line, but nice quick play made over there at third base by Madison Dunleavy. Retires the first Jaguar of the inning. And that'll bring up Mackenzie James, who got this game started off with a bang with a home run to left center field. Watches that first pitch on the outside corner for strike number one. I hear the rumble of thunder as Mark Amadeo makes his way up the bleachers. The umpire is going to join us. Blue, I call him. He's had opportunity to see the Jaguars. Going to get some of his thoughts on the postseason pairings that have come out as well, as he gets a chance to see some of the or a lot of the action all the way around the state throughout the course of the year. So against my better judgment, I'll let him behind the microphone here shortly as James watches that pitch a little bit low for ball two.
Careful.
2-1 now.
He's sneaking in behind you here.
I know he is. I know. He's not here to evaluate me, although I feel judged already as he makes his way in here. 2-1 the score. The count is James' little duck snort falls in there. We'll wait for the ruling on that one. I'm going to stay out of that debate.
I think that's a hit.
All right, and James will get credited with a hit on the little duck snort. That's the second time I've been able to use that today, duck snort.
That it was.
And that'll bring up Peyton Drefke, who had an infield hit and her first at-bat today. First pitch, low for ball number one. I chased Amadeo out of here that fast.
He did.
Yes.
He didn't like the
said
cold
he was,
in
said
here.
He was too cold.
Yeah, he did not like the cold.
Drefke pops that one up. Get out, foul. There it is. Yep. Buys herself another swing.
Personally, I like the comfort of the press box up here.
I'm already going to sit out through another couple games tonight. I'm going to take advantage of this air while it's here. Runner goes, and James is going to be in there easily safe at second base. She was going from the very beginning. As we see that three-man umpire rotation, that'll be one of the things that I do talk about with Mark Amadeo here when he joins us.
You might have to do an outside interview.
Yeah, he won't come back in here, will he? Drefke pops that one over to the right side, and that's going to get down over there. Drefke watches that pitch upstairs. Full count to Drefke. Seen a couple home runs off full counts today. This game two of a... Ooh, that's lined right back up the middle. James is going to come around and get held up there actually at third base. Drefke waits over there at first base as well. Do you call it a doubleheader? I mean, for the Jag, everybody's playing two. It's a doubleheader just against different teams.
Yeah, I guess. A non-traditional doubleheader.
And now Jordan Kennedy steps up to the plate. Had a nice shot to left field in her first at-bat. One-hopped it to the wall. Jags with runners in the corners. Drefke will be going, and Kennedy, on what looked like probably a hit-and-run, fouls that one off. Looks like the clouds have helped keep that heat down a little bit this afternoon. It was pretty warm when I got here this morning.
Looks pretty comfortable out there, really.
Kennedy on the 0-1. I need a hoodie in here right now. Kennedy hacks that one over there. Thought about going for two. right away. Kennedy's going to score the run as a play made over at third by Madison Dunleavy. So James does come across the plate, and that'll bring up Sydney Morris. First pitch outside there from Barker.
Yeah, I think Dunleavy could have. She thought about it there for a second to try to turn two, but I think she realized, I'll make the out. That's number
That's
two.
That's a long throw as well to try to think about two.
Yeah.
Morris gets underneath that one. It's a pop up to left field. Runner is rolling all the way around, and it is caught out there in left field for out number 3. So the Jags held the 1 run in the bottom of the second. We'll be back with Mark Amadeo, talk a little bit with him about these postseason pairings coming up here on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Fiscus Jewelers, Rainbow of the Heartland, the all-new Prairie Trail Sports Complex, All-Star Concrete, the Zoom Room, Knocker Ball 118, Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, and Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel.
And we're back here on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire. I've got Blue, is what I call him, Mark Amadeo, a guy that he's ready to toss me out. He's wearing his Iowa Softball Umpire Academy today, try to give himself some instant credibility. Don't usually see people walk up here with shirts that I've written on with marker and color. Amadeo's here taking a peek at the umpires today. I know he's down at Ankeny early on, and what's interesting, Mark, about this one is you see a shot to Mackenzie James, has to retreat a little bit to make the play there off the bat of Rachel McFarland. Three-man mechanics, something we talked about a little bit that Kevin and I have been talking about today, and something that we don't see really at all during the regular season, maybe a little bit at some tournaments, but good way to prepare these guys mentally for the postseason coming up.
Well, mentally and physically, because we're not used to being in three-person unless some of these guys have worked college, and this crew all has. And you know what's good about this crew, why they're so good? Because I'm not in it. That's one reason. But they're a sharp-looking crew. Ron Taylor, Phil Crease, who has the plate, and Tim Rogers. Tim came from Tiffin, Iowa, over by Iowa City. He's a teacher at Williamsburg, and he came over, and just glad to have him. They need to get the reps in because, as you know, Andy, the pairings came out for the girls' postseason and all 5 classes, and, got to start getting prepared.
That ball's lifted out there in the left field. Maddie Ott gets her glove underneath it, makes an outstanding play out in left field. Ott has showed her wheels at points throughout the year on the base paths, but she's also shown a very good read of the ball out in left field, but a great play there by Maddie. So you already teased it here, the postseason pairings coming out. I don't know if you've had a chance to look over them at all, but I want to talk a little bit. Tim, in game number 1, outstanding game behind the plate. I thought he was very good. We don't get a chance to see him a whole lot. But Williamsburg, where he comes from, is one of those teams that certainly will be threatening here in a couple weeks at Fort Dodge.
No question. Now, he can't work their games. He just started there a year ago at Williamsburg, but he's from primarily, he was working the Iowa City School District and got a job at Williamsburg. But he was working their games up till a year ago, and they are a very talented group over there. They've been to Fort Dodge numerous times, and I've had a chance to work their games. They're good.
Well, having an opportunity to work at the state softball tournament the last couple of years and call those games and see you guys work and see how you guys are in a respectful way able to critique each other. I mean, I think everybody takes that critique. I don't see anybody getting too defensive of it, but it's interesting because a lot of times for the umpires, we sit back and we only see what the call on the field.
Correct.
And depending on if it goes for us or against us, we may or may not be happy with the call, but I know you guys are always working hard to perfect your craft.
We critique each other. Sometimes it's self-critique. Those of us that are been doing it a while, we got to get feedback from each other. But we will look at film when we have it available, and it helps us get better. We need to see the good stuff, 95% of the things going on are good. It's that 5% we're working on.
And those are the ones that people remember when
Yeah,
it's
that's
scoring
true.
against your
That's
team.
true.
What are some of the things, as you guys critique each other, what are some of the things you're looking for? Obviously, positioning, being in the right spot to make the calls, the mechanics, I've got to imagine that's going to be at the top of the list.
A lot of times this is with any official, no matter it's football, basketball, it's about the angle, making sure we're in the right angle, and we got to sometimes fight for that. We can get pinched to the plate, get the batter crowding the plate, because that's part of the offensive coaching staff's philosophy is to pinch the plate, maybe force the pitcher to get off that outside corner, and then we got the catcher that's lining up on the inside corner, and we got this little window we're trying to look through. So that's a struggle sometimes, more so at the college than high school, but there are some high school coaches that do that. Distance over angle, a lot of umpires have trouble with that. They think they have to be right on top of it, but sometimes the angle's better with distance than trying to get close and not have an angle. So there's little things we work on like that.
Well, one of the things you mentioned, the angle and always having that angle, one of the reasons I really appreciate reffing volleyball is because as the up ref, I've always got the angle to make the call as we do that. But a couple of the other things, one thing just, it came up the other night, just the appeal process and how that all works. And talk a little bit, I have some conversations with parents at points about, is it a judgment call or is it a ruling? And there's a difference in that from an official standpoint, from an umpire standpoint.
Well, every coach has a chance to appeal a play. It's usually a tag play that you're talking about, where fly ball to the outfield and runners tagging up from mainly second and third, sometimes first. And as a two-person crew, we're watching 3 bases, so along with the ball. So we've got to put ourselves in the best angle we can, just in case coach decides to appeal third, maybe second, maybe first if you got bases loaded. Well, I've had that happen in my career. So that's the process there. It could be a live ball appeal or it could be a dead ball appeal, which is a lot better when you can kill the ball and then, okay, what do you want to appeal, coach?
So here's the situation. Laney Moore, the catcher, as she's going after the ball right now, steps on the bat as she's going after. That's a play on, correct? And I mean, there's no as she steps on the bat, she ended up ultimately made the catch. But is that something that can be ruled base runner interference at all with that bat in the way on the base path?
Not in that particular way you described it. She'd have to intentionally throw the bat at her. Just laying it down, that's just part of the field. Once the batter, like right now, the gal just flew out. The bat's in foul territory. It is what it is. So no.
The other thing I've had conversations with you about that I think as we see more and more lefties, that slapping style continues to get more and more right now. It's big everywhere, and you get some of that speed on the bases with it. But the rolling ball versus a rolling bat on a lefty. Explain that situation.
Well, the lefties are unique because they're known for their speed, but they got to stay within the parameters of the batter's box. Now in college, they cannot have 1 inch of their foot over the chalk. High school, as long as their heel's on the chalk and their rest of their foot's in fair or foul ground, they're fine.
I didn't realize there was a difference.
There is a difference.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a difference. College, you got to have everything within the chalk. So we're watching. Our main priority is watch the pitch, and then when the pitch is delivered and then it's swung on, then our eyes go down to, okay, where's she at? And that's that quick, Andy. People don't understand that. And 9 times out of 10, I think the umpires know when they're out of the box. That's something that you kind of have a feel for, but it's tough to call. It's obvious if you're a fan sitting back looking for it, and we're not looking for it. We're looking for our first priority, the pitch, and then our eyes roll to the batter.
So a quick inning there, the bottom of the third, as the Jaguars, a few pop-outs, get Davis County back up to their side of the bat. I'll keep you with me for a couple more minutes here. Looking around at the postseason pairings right now, there's going to be some fun softball being played. We follow 5A, obviously, here, and I know you've done a lot of 5A games this year, but looking at the CIML in particular, it's a battle right now in this conference.
It is. And I don't know what you and Kevin talked about beforehand today, but you look at your 2 teams in Ankeny, Centennial and Ankeny. Coach Bingham down at Ankeny, and obviously Coach Delaney here at Centennial. Great job. Look at their strength of schedule. They went out and, like these teams here, I know they've been one-sided today with the smaller schools, Davis County and Estherville Lincoln Central, but they're one of the top schools in their class, and that means a lot as far as when you're putting that RPI index together. That means a huge, and this also carries over to Fort Dodge. If the teams qualify, now you're the number 1 overall seed when you get to Fort Dodge for the state tournament. So there's a there's a level of who you play and who you go out and play, and that's a credit to both coaches doing that and finding games, because the CIML, as you know, Randy, it went from a 19-team league down to a 9-team league, and those 9 teams had to go out and find 21 games if they wished to play 40-game season. So all these coaches in that 9-team CIML were looking for 21 games, whether it's 1A schools, 4A schools, maybe a few 5A schools. And that says a lot when you see that strength of schedule for Ankeny and Ankeny Centennial.
Well, just this year, the amount of teams in the top 5 in their respective classes that we've seen, including number 1 and 4A Carlisle, and I know that's a team that you've had the opportunity to watch play several times. Coach Flaws down there having a great season, ranked number 1 in Class 4A, and we found out the hard way how good they are. Coach Flaws is one of those coaches that understands how the game is played, and over the last couple of years, especially calling the games when you're paying closer attention to what's going on, you start to understand the game within the game that a lot of coaches play anymore. And I know one of the terms I've heard from you in the past on some of those things is a human rain delay on little things there, just things that end up coming up throughout the course of the game. But guys that have been around for a long time understand that there's certain times you need to kill momentum. There's just certain times that things need to be done. And
as officials, we understand that for the most part, but we have to manage the game within the rules. If there's so much time that they get every time out with a coach, whether it's a batter or going out and talk to his pitcher, it's a minute. So about 35, 40 seconds. There's no buzzer like in basketball to, first horn, second horn. We go out there and try to move things along. It doesn't really get to that part. There's a lot of different things you can do that's legal that might be frustrating to a fan, but it's legal. And I think I answered that question here the other night.
Yes.
And it wasn't thought of very well, but I tell you what, when I came up here, the fans right in front of you, I know you probably know them, they were just said to give you the business. They enjoyed me. I don't know why. I said, you guys same ones that were here the other night when we had the issues on
You're wearing
media
a different outfit.
And I get the stuff being sent to me, highlight clips. So... but yeah, we try to manage the game within the rules of the game. The coaches have, a little bit of a leash there, and we just try to manage that.
How long have you been umpiring?
This is my 41st year of being a certified high school umpire.
Okay, and a big question with that is, how has everything that's been recorded, basically every play is being recorded by a parent or a live stream or MediaCom, how has that changed? I can't imagine, you guys aren't willfully making bad calls, but how has that changed when people have that instant feedback, or you're hearing that from a coach, or you're hearing that from a parent during a game?
They brought this to the college game many years ago, so I've personally been kind of used to it. So have the college guys that do high school. It's the high school guys that may have a little bit more, because they're only out here in June and July doing this. You just trying to hone your craft, get your skills down. We have camps in the off season. This fall we'll have camps, and I'm going to get into a little bit about recruiting umpires. But the ones that have been doing this, you got to hone your craft. You got to go to camps. You might learn something new, different about an angle. And we also have them in the spring when we start early. For those that aren't doing college ball, but it's constantly honing your craft and trying to stay on top of it. Here I am, 61 years old, trying to keep up with your daughter, who's 15, 16, and all the other daughters out there. I'm not getting any younger, but I help. Physically, I got to stay with it, so it's a constant challenge, Andy.
Jaguars get 3 down there. Why don't you give us your pitch real quick? Yeah, for recruiting new umpires. I know there's a constant. There's a constant. I don't know if struggle is probably the right word. I mean, we're seeing on the baseball side, seeing games not get played because of lack of umpires this year, and I'm sure it's happening in softball. We just don't see it as much here in the CIML.
It is, and you see some of the email blasts I get and go through the girls' union and the boys' association needing umpires. What they've done. In May, they postponed games to now. Now we're down to the final few weeks. Those games may not get played because they're hoping that somebody becomes available, maybe hoping somebody gets off the injured list and maybe can come back out and help. We got umpires that are hurt or, whatever. So that's what they're hoping, but we're going to see games canceled. Unfortunately, I think this is the last week of the high school season starting on Monday. So I hope that doesn't happen, but that's what we're up against. But, folks want to get into officiating. We hope they can get into it with a positive introduction, meaning they have a mentor to rely on, not just being thrown out there, here, Kevin, pass the test, and you're out there on diamond 8, and nobody's going to be near you, and we'll see you again at 5 o'clock later on tonight. We don't want that. There's got to be correctly done, because this game is getting so popular that they're going to keep having games, whether it's club ball, The high school tournaments are getting big, as you can see, and we need officials. We need quality officials. We need the guys that are there to kind of, stay with it. Summer's a big time to travel. I would encourage you to get a hold of both associations. The girls' union, I work with Kathy Creighton, who's the coordinator of officials, who's my
we've seen here
high school
several
partner.
times on big games.
IGHSAU.org. There's information about officials, but get a hold of them. Get a hold of an official. Maybe it's your neighbor. Maybe it's Andy Pollock doing the broadcast. Get a hold of them.
We'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, or through a sponsor that you have many on here on the Centennial Network. Get a hold of them because we can put you in touch with that and start you out. You're not going to be starting out in varsity. We'll start you out with little kids and move up. That's how I did it 41 years ago, and still trying to keep up with your daughter's age kids, Andy.
Well, we appreciate you stopping up here today. We'll get Kevin back in here right now. Jaguars bats have gone quiet since I brought you up, so I don't know what.
Anything I can do to help the cause for Davis County, no problem.
Very good. Well, thanks, Blue. Mark Amadeo, a 41-year veteran of the umpiring world. I know he's been a coach in other sports as well. It's always good to get their point of view and perspective on things. So appreciate him coming up. Also happens to be a play-by-play guy, so as you can tell, he wasn't shy behind the microphone as well. He's a long-time voice. In fact, I believe he's in the Iowa Broadcasters Hall of Fame as a long-time voice of the Dowling Catholic Maroons football team and basketball, for that matter, with KWKY and Iowa Catholic Radio down in Des Moines. Addison Starr up to the plate right now. The count is 2-2 to her, and she lines that one into center field, and that is going to be caught out there. Nice play out in center field. Davis County playing tough defense. That's Sophia Young out there, as that looked like it was going to be a hit off the bat of Starr, and the Jaguars have no problem hitting the ball right now on Barker, but they just continue to hit it right to people.
Just trying to find a gap there, someplace for it to fall.
And that'll bring up McKenna Vallejo, 0 for 1 on the day with a bunt early on. Puts that one over to shortstop. That should be a good one for Vallejo, and she is out at first. Man, the throw just barely beat her. Cassidy Van Lanningham gets rid of it quickly over there at shortstop, and you don't have any time to waste when Vallejo is motoring down that line.
Excellent play there, and thought maybe Vallejo was going to use her speed. She did, and it was just a close play, but good play on the defensive side there by the Mustangs.
Mackenzie James up to bat right now for the Jags as she watches that first pitch low for ball one. Jaguars, after putting up 4 runs in the first inning in the bottom of the first, have been pretty quiet here in this 5-1 game. James fouls that one off. Defense continues to be solid as they lead right now 5-1 in the bottom of the fourth. A very fast-moving game because even, say for that first inning, it's been a lot of 3 up, 3 down for both teams.
Yeah, it's moved along here quite a bit since that first inning.
James hacks that one again. It's a shot to left center, off the bottom of the wall. She got all of that one as well. Was trying for her second home run of the day. As it is a stand-up double for Mackenzie James. Ball never got higher than the scoreboard out there, and that's one of her strengths, is she is a line drive hitter.
Yeah, just didn't quite get enough height on it. It's one of those, it just a frozen rope kind of thing. And off the bottom of the fence there.
That'll bring up Peyton Drefke again as her pitch is lined over and caught. Nice grab out there at second base by Rachel McFarland. So the Jaguars get 1 base runner, not able to put anything else on as they threaten just a little bit there in the bottom of the fourth. It's 5-1 is our score as we head to the top of the fifth. Back after this on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Fiscus Jewelers, Rainbow of the Heartland, the all-new Prairie Trail Sports Complex, All-Star Concrete, the Zoom Room, Knocker Ball 118, Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, and Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel.
And we're back here after working our way through some of the substitutions right now here in the top of the 5th. Jaguars lead Davis County, the Mustangs, 5-1. Cora Boyle, junior pitcher, now into throw. She's a 3rd pitcher we've seen, or 4th pitcher, that we've seen today for the Jaguars. And it's really not out of necessity right now. It's just an opportunity to get another player. 4 out of the 5 girls have now thrown for the Jaguars today. And the next substitution then has been Lauren Sandholm has come in to play second base. So I think that's everything. Looking, don't have my binoculars, but I think everybody else is in their same places in the outfield. As Boyle looks in at Cassidy Van Lanningham, the hitter right now. Van Lanningham tries to lay down the bunt. Goes back between the feet of Addie Starr at catcher. So the Jaguars actually, when you look around the infield on their normal Game 1 lineup, Jaguars have 1 player in their normal position right now with Jordan Kennedy playing first base. The 0-1 pitch to Van Lanningham. Over there to Sandholm. Picks it up, but has to get rid of it quickly. Boy, she didn't have any time to waste as Van Lanningham was booking.
She was moving down the line. Lefties didn't get that extra step and a half. I can always say that you're closer to the first base bag, and they get there pretty quick.
Sophia Young back up for the 3rd time today for Davis County. Pitch is on the inside corner for strike 1. It's always interesting to talk to Mark Amadeo. Always learn something. There's a big rule proposal here this week for college softball coming up in the next year that I think is going to find its way into the high school ranks very soon, and that is the allowance of a pitcher to get air as they push off the rubber. That's been an Olympic rule. It's been okay in the Olympics, but that's something that the club ball has gone to. They're allowing it now, and that's on the table right now to happen in college softball for next year.
Yeah, I've heard that's sitting out there, and they're talking about it. And I guess I'm kind of indifferent, really, about it myself. Even with the daughter as a pitcher. So it's one of those things where it's be interesting to see where it goes.
It's one of those things that even before it wasn't a rule, or before it wasn't allowed at the club level, you saw it got away with a lot. And so it's one less thing for the officials to look for, and the rule committee has deemed that it does not give an advantage to the pitcher.
And it was interesting because we're going over some things with Mark Amadeo there, and that would be one thing I would like to ask him about is what do you see? Because I like the interpretation of that. There's a couple things: the pitching idea, and then the blocking the plate idea that's out there also. I'd like to hear the interpretation, but it's great to sit there and listen to him talk about things so that we understand better, rather than being not understanding so much as a fan.
Well, it's interesting to see how proactive, as Young goes down looking there for the 2nd out of the inning, but it's interesting to see and hear how proactive the umpires are in planning ahead where the call is going to be, the position that you get in to make the call. It's not just a reactionary thing that so often as a fan up in the stands we are just, that was a bad call. That's right, the extent of it. There's a thought process behind everything that gets done out there.
Yes, exactly, and I appreciate that as a fan. I appreciate them. Let this go.
Oh, that's a little hopper. That little bloop single there, infield hit is the English on the ball there from Rachel McFarland, gets a infield single. Looked like a cue ball off the
little Massey shot.
Yeah,
is that what that's called back in the time? Willie Moscone. That's going back a number of years. But going back to Amadeo, I appreciate the umpires, the time they take to do what they do. I mean, it's a craft, and to take the time to be out there, and they need the umpire shortage. It's a reality thing. They need more individuals coming up, younger guys, to step out there and not be afraid to do the things that they have to do. And you know what? If you haven't done it, it's a lot more difficult than you think it might be when you sit in the stands and try to be an umpire, an armchair umpire, I would call it.
It's something that I've really enjoyed doing at the club level. I know we got young Cash here. He's going to be a freshman at Centennial, and I fight to get him over here because he's umping games, so it's great. I told him, in fact, we had a conversation couple weeks ago. He's, I got a game to ump that night, but I might be able to skip it. I was like, no, we need umpires worse than we need guys to run the board right now. Get out there and do that. So another strikeout there for Boyle. We move to the bottom of the fifth. Jags in the lead, 5-1.
Everything we do is here to benefit the client. Every decision that's needed to be made, the first question you should ask is, does this benefit the client, and is this the best thing for the client?
Our goal is to make a difference. We have the tools, resources, training, and leadership to make a difference in our agents' lives and their careers. And then they can then take that to make a difference in their clients' lives and ultimately make a difference in our communities.
We are available basically 24/7 to make sure that our agents are getting the support they need to look like $1 million in front of their clients.
And we're back as the YMCA is cooking, and we got
Grandma dancing out there.
We got Glenn, I call her. It's the
having fun.
Sandholm's grandmother.
Yes.
She always brings a spark to everything that
she has great enthusiasm.
that she's doing. I should see her at some of these 3-day volleyball tournaments as Jordan Kennedy in the sun. Man, kind of forgot it was out there.
There it is.
Brightens things up a bunch. Kennedy takes a whack at that one, fielded over there at short, throwing across. So just good solid defense, error-free defense so far played by Davis County. And Jags, after that big explosion to start, just have not been able to really barrel up Madeline Barker since.
No, they haven't really completely squared it up. It's everything's been a little bit off center hits and just enough to keep it in the infield, and they're making their plays.
That pitch way outside to Sydney Morris. Jags have had 7 hits. Morris pushes that one out into center field, and a jumping catch made out there in center by Young. And the Jags have had some quick innings.
Yeah, you know, their seam pitches, like a shot there. I don't blame Sid for that. You know, she made a pretty good hit on the ball there, but the center fielder, Young, she just snuck over there and snagged it. You know, when you're swinging at the first or second pitch, it can lead to quick innings if you're not getting the ball in play.
So Maddie Ott steps up to the plate right now for the Jaguars. That is a strike on the outside corner. Evens up the count at 1 apiece here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. So a very fast-moving game as we've got to the bottom of the 5th inning very quickly. Ott hacks that one foul. In fact, our time of game so far to get this far has only been 48 minutes right now that this game has taken to get to the bottom of the 5th.
Moving right along.
Not a lot of strikeouts, but a lot of just ground outs and flyouts. So quick at bats.
Not a lot of deep pitch counts.
Ott hacks that one right back at Barker, who picks it up and calmly throws it over to first after knocking it down initially. Jags go 3 up, 3 down. Another 0 there on the scoreboard. We're looking at 6 straight half innings of zeros on the scoreboard. Davis County goes back to work here in the top of the 6th after this on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Nick Jarash Fitness, Weicker Realtors, the 515 Agency, Ted Sandine Photography, Extreme Services, Sinorama Ankeny, and Amy Wiederin with Coldwell Banker.
You are watching Jaguar Soccer on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire. Visit one of our 6 locations for all of your automotive.
We are back on the north side of Ankeny with the Jaguars leading Davis County, the Mustangs, 5-1. Some more adjustments made around the field. The same players out there, but just moving them around by position again. So Jordan Kennedy has gone out to right field from first base, and she played that spot a year ago a lot. Sid Morris has now moved over to first base. Maddie Ott has moved from left field into third base, and McKenna Vallejo has gone from right field to left field. I think I got all that there.
I think so. And then
a pitch from Cora Boyle, who's in to pitch her second inning here. No one else to use for the Jaguars today, right now. I suppose they could still go to Ellie Lorenz in the dugout as well. She'd be the JV pitcher that's along with them right now. Kennedy, Sandholm, and Jaden Stair, and Boyle have all pitched today. Boyle gets that foul there and evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Was told that Gus would not throw today. She's had an outstanding senior year. Took the loss the other night, but in Valley, they hit the Centennial pitchers better than anybody has this year.
Yeah, they have. They did. They did a good piece of hitting, and we've known that I always say it when we're talking, just the good set of hitters over with the Tigers whole program from top to bottom. I remember that back in younger years and with my daughter, and they do a good job of just standing up to the plate and taking care of business.
Full count right now from Cora Boyle. And there's a swing and a miss. Boyle gets her third strikeout, that on Caitlin Olinger. Here is the 1-out delivery from Boyle, and that is a strike. Had to wait. Didn't know for sure. Can't hear the call from up here, so got to wait for the signal from Phil Crease. Boyle throwing well. She's added some miles per hour to her pitch from a year ago. She goes to the changeup there, and immediately as I say she's added miles per hour, she takes those miles per hour off.
Just a change of speed, which you need to do with batters. You don't want them to keep seeing the same thing over and over, even if it is at different levels. You want it to come at different levels and different speeds.
Lainey Moore up to bat right now for Davis County. And all I can think of right now is the music that was playing the last half inning. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. 2-1 the count. Ball is chopped up off that new netting. Makes our view of the game much clearer.
We do enjoy it a lot more than what it used to be. I will say that. That's for certain.
I think the next move is you're gonna find plexiglass. Everything is just right through a clear window.
That's right. When they can build something that doesn't stain, streak, and all that other stuff, it is durable. Withstand those Iowa winters.
Might be something that you can take down at a given point, right?
Yeah.
There's balls lined right back up the middle, and there's a hit for Lainey Moore here with 1 out in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up Caden Van Lanningham. Looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner for the catcher Moore. And that is Augusta Warren. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. First pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1 there to Caden Van Lanningham, the senior of the 2 Van Lanninghams. The pitching right now of Madeline Barker is giving the Jaguars all they want to handle. After 4 runs or even 5 in the first 2 innings, they've not been able to really push anybody past second base, and that's been sporadically. Bats have gone cold on this warm day. That ball hacked, and it is going to be foul down that left field line. Way out in front of that one was Van Lanningham.
It's one of those things you want to, as a team, you got to be careful. You get out to those leads right away. Sometimes you get a little complacent, I guess, or you get that lull in the middle of a game, and you got to try to avoid that. You just got to keep the gas pedal down and keep going.
That's over there to Ott. She throws it over to Sandholm, and Sandholm can't get the glove on it. It's going to be another error ruled to the Jaguars. I think they're going to credit that one to Ott on the throwing error. And just like that, Davis County threatening here in the top of the 6th. It's going to bring up Madison Dunleavy. Don't forget to stick around after the game as we name our Lamberti Goki Lucci Law Player of the Game. We'll combine both versions of the doubleheader in today, and Sandholm can't gather that one in. So the Jaguars, 2 errors in a row. Ball was rolling slow, and she couldn't wait for it to get there, and she avoided the contact, and she could have made the contact and got the out.
Yeah.
Waited back for the runner to clear.
Yeah, that's one of those you learn as you get a little more experience and get you can just run into the runner there as you're trying to move to the ball rather than sitting back, and you get that automatic out, and runners are frozen.
Adeline Hobbs comes in, and the Jaguars in a little bit of a pickle right now. A couple errors. These runs are all going to be unearned if anything comes across. Just with 1 out here in the top of the 6th, you make home an unearned run. But either way, the tying run is at the plate right now, and the way the Jaguars have not been hitting the ball over the last 3 innings, that's a little concerning.
Right. Yeah, no, that's just kind of what I was alluding to a little bit earlier there. Just kind of a lull, and you lose that momentum and you kind of lose that spark because you jump out to a big lead, and sometimes you got to, as a team, you got to figure out how to keep pushing through all that, and every inning is a new inning. You know, forget what's happened in the past. Be a goldfish, the old Ted Lasso line. Each inning you got to keep strive to, win the inning, win that inning, and do it again and again.
Well, here with bases loaded is Davis County, the tying run at the plate in the top of the 6th against the Jaguars. That pitch is upstairs. Star just on the throwback, can't handle it. This is Hallie Husted up to bat right now for the Mustangs with the interesting helmet design out there. Counts 1-0 to her. Here's a pitch from Boyle. Popped up there into right field, and that is going to be foul by a couple feet.
Close.
Not by much, and that would have scored at least 1 run. As Kennedy gave chase out there. She's playing quite deep out there in right field.
Yeah, she is out there a little bit of ways. Maybe she snuck in a step there, it looked like. Maybe when I peeked. Maybe not.
As Husted steps back up now with a 1-1 count. Can't get any more players on the field than we've got right now. Here's the pitch from Boyle. Popped up foul once again. This will be a big out for Cora right now in the circle if she can somehow find a way to get this one.
She'd like to strike out here. Don't give the runners a chance to advance even on a ground ball to, say, the weak side or wherever.
That's up the middle, and Sandholm there to make the play once again. Throws over to first. They do get the out at first base. She tried to put the tag on initially at second, and then quickly realized that the runner was past her and makes a quick throw over to first. But the run comes across, and it is now 5-2 with runners on second and third with 2 outs. And now Cassidy Van Lanningham steps back up to the plate. So Davis County giving the Jags a battle here this afternoon. Friday afternoon game. That pitch is foul tipped into the glove of Starr for strike 1.
Yeah, I think Jags are going to look to try to get out of this here without any more damage, hopefully. See if they can get a ground ball out and get back up to bat. See if they can put a couple more runs on the board.
Ooh, that goes off the helmet
Is that
of Van
shoulder?
Lanningham. Actually, they're going to talk right now. It is off the helmet.
It was either shoulder or helmet. I thought it.
All right, caught part of her. It did not hit the bat. That's the discussion. It did not hit the bat,
Yeah.
and that does reload the bases, and that is tough on the Jaguars because now we're back to the top of the order, and Sophia Young. Now the go-ahead run at the plate. Runners took big leads all around. Jaguars booting the ball around here in the 6th inning. 2 errors have made any runs that come across unearned.
Getting a little more noise down here in the stands. A little antsy on a couple things, but we'll see what they can.
That ball is lifted and just foul. That would have cleared the bases where that got hit to out in left field. So Sophia Young all over that one.
Yeah, got to be careful here. You got a leadoff hitter, batting nearly 400. Got to watch what you're throwing here.
1-1 pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Starr there behind home plate. Two and one now the count to the leadoff batter, Sophia Young. Bases full of Mustangs here against pitcher Cora Boyle. Pitch is popped up there over into the right field side and foul. Falls in that little Bermuda triangle over there between right, second, and first.
About the furthest point for every fielder, first base, second, and right field to try to go get to. One of the hardest balls to reach.
Well, and Young dodges a bullet right there because that third out would have killed a lot of the momentum that Davis County currently has. She steps back up to the plate with a 2-2 count against her. 2 outs in the top of the 6th. Here's a pitch from Boyle. Swung on over to Drefke, throws it across the infield. They get the out, so the Jags dodge a bullet there in the top of the 6th. They had a couple different times there that the tying run stepped up to the plate, including the go-ahead run came up to the plate. But the Jags will take a 3-run lead to the bottom of the 6th here on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Keystone Home Inspections, Reed Plumbing, the Iowa Rush Soccer Club, 72 Degrees, your comfort company, the Sassy Flower Bakery, Alter Trading Corporation, West 40 Market, Nolte & Sons Lawn and Irrigation, Rod Brannon with Shelter Insurance, the New York Life Offices of Josh Cowart, Dr. Brett Renzi and Health First Chiropractic, U.S. Cellular, the Helpful Smiles of Hy-Vee, Dr. Christy Semro with iMart Express, and Springer Floor Care.
Back here on the north side of Ankeny, Centennial clinging to a 5-2 lead. Davis County has definitely threatened, and Mustangs from southern Iowa have given the Jags everything they could have asked for this afternoon.
They definitely have. We've already made that comment. Back there, the early innings, Jags came out, bats were hot. And since then, though, Davis County's kind of settled in, played some good defense, pitched well, put a few runs on the board, and then kept it close.
Leading off for the Jags, the bottom half of the 6th inning, number 13, Mariah Belzer.
Belzer to lead things off for the Jaguars here in the The bottom of the 6th, and a fly ball out there to right field's caught, and that's kind of been the story for the Jags. Just a lot of caught fly balls.
Yes. Halfway decently hit, I guess is the way to put it, but not sharp enough to land or find a gap somewhere.
Cora Boyle, the pitcher, trying to help her own cause here. Steps up to the plate and rips that one through. That's a nice hit. Good solid contact there for Boyle. And she just continues to come up with timely hits this year.
She has. She's done a real good job. I just was laughing because I was thinking, right side, be ready to go. And there she goes. She rips one over to the left side, just to the side of the shortstop. So she's done a fabulous job hitting here this year. Like I said, she raised her average up quite considerably from last year. And, having a two-pronged attack, both being the pitch and also to come up there and be a good bat for the Jaguars is a good thing to have.
So our Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital substitution has Mary Monosmith now coming into the game to run. And now catcher Addie Starr is up. First pitch to the bottom part of the zone. 4-strike-1. Jags 3 outs away from obviously keeping their #1 ranking. Postseason pairings are out. The Star reaches for that one. Double play threat here, and it's thrown out there as Ron was ready to signal out. You got to wait for that play to play out. I see that talk. It was certainly going to be an out if it was caught, but now we've got another Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital's substitution coming in for Addie Starr over there as she takes advantage of the error and legs it out there to first base, and it is Addie Pollock sheepishly walking out to first base to take over there for Starr. And McKenna Vallejo then comes up to the plate. So a bunch of juniors on the field right now for the Jags. Vallejo looking to move them forward right now. I think she'd be pretty content with that.
Yeah.
Lays down the bunt, fouled. Trying that little drag bunt.
Yep, she would look to see if she can get the runners moved over to second and third. You get back to the top of your lineup. Mackenzie James' bat's been pretty hot.
Oh,
so,
very.
It would be a good opportunity here. And who knows, with her speed, she gets in the right gap, she'll get on herself.
Vallejo swings and pops that one up foul. So just like that, she's down to the count 0-2. Got to keep this one on the ground on the 0-2 count with runners on first and second. Pitch is outside. Good frame job there, though.
Mm-hmm.
1-2 the count to McKenna Vallejo. Mary Monosmith on second. Addie Pollock on first. The pitch from Barker. Popped up, and that's going to be dropped in the gap and rolls out there. Monosmith motored to third, and she's safe there. She had to wait to see how that was, and that's right in that territory of where you probably could call an infield fly, but it's also just enough far out there. There's no, it can go to the grass and still be called an infield fly.
Yeah, I think the umpire did a good job there of reading the situation of the, not calling an infield fly. It's just enough where it's going to be kind of an extraordinary play for the fielders to make it, actually, even though they did get there.
And now Mackenzie James up with the bases loaded, and am I hearing the chatter correctly? She's a triple away from the cycle in this game, is that right?
Yeah, she is.
She's got a home run, a double, and a single in this game. And that's fouled off. That's the right spot to work it to if you want to get that triple.
I'm just thinking the same thing.
Certainly in the running for our Lamberti Goki Lucci Law Player of the Game. A heck of an afternoon so far for Mackenzie James. She's won it before, but you can win it a couple times. James lines that one to left center field. Grand slam! Home run for Mackenzie James. Clears the bases. Touch them all. Home run number 6 on the year, her second of the day. And Mackenzie James blows this thing right back wide open. What a shot.
Nice shot there by Mackenzie. Just, like you said, just powered it out again. She'll take that over getting the cycle, I think.
2 home runs. 2 home runs better than a triple in my book.
Yeah.
As James opens things back up once again. There's some breathing room for the Jags as they head to the top of the 7th. Drefke watches that first pitch upstairs. Man, that power alley has been so friendly to Mackenzie James, that area between the scoreboard out to center field. She has put a lot of balls out there in Delaney Cove.
She certainly has. Might have to put a little marker out there for her after she graduates.
Here lies home run number 6 from Mackenzie James.
That's right.
So the Jags open things back up now with a 9-2 lead. Drefke on the 0-2 swings that one, and it's going to be popped up into center field, and play made out there by Young once again. They have been really good with their gloves, Davis County has. That's this final score, well, assuming the Jags can hold here in the top of the 7th, certainly nothing to hang their heads about with Davis County the way they played here in this second game today against the Jaguars.
No, not at all. I mean, they hung in there. Just one pitch gets away to a good batter that's just on fire, and then all of a sudden it just kind of changes everything. But they've done a good job today.
Jordan Kennedy up to the plate right now for the Jags. That's 10 hits for the Jags on the day, which they've had a lot of double-digit hit games this year. The best hitting team in Class 5A, batting .380 as a team. And now the 2-0 count to Kennedy. Well, she got all of that one. See ya. That thing. Oh, never mind. I thought it was gone. Caught up against the fence. Boy, off the bat of Kennedy. I'm not going to lie. I don't miss those too often when I think of balls out of here. But that nice play out there by Sophia Young. I thought Kennedy got all of that one. But the Jaguars off a grand slam home run by Mackenzie James. She's got 5 runs batted in and is 4 for 4 in this one. I think we're not going to spoil the surprise when we name our LGL Law Player of the Game here later on. 9-2, the Jaguars, 3 out, improving their record this season. Back after this on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Drosh Fitness, the one thing we want.
And we're back. A couple more substitutions here as you see a dancer. Actually, that's my daughter dancing in front of the camera right now. Oh, shoot. Having some fun out here. It's been a long afternoon at the ballpark. Got here about 11:30, and I got a couple more games to sit through tonight. There's been a couple more substitutions here. Ellie Lorenz is at first base. Ellie Lorenz at first base, and Addie Pollock is out in right now. And that ball's laced to left field, and that's going to be extra bases for Rachel McFarland as Vallejo tracks it down. And a leadoff double for McFarland, and that's a run that doesn't matter right now. Still gives you the ability just to focus on getting the batter.
Right. That after that last grand slam there with Mackenzie James, give him a little breathing room here. Now you're in a situation where a lot of runs got to get pushed across. You just look at that outs and runs situation, if they give up a run, it's not the end of the world, but make your plays.
Yeah, Brooklyn Batterson comes in to run for McFarland. And that brings up Barker. Ball over there, Ott picks it up, throws it across the infield. That's a cannon by Maddie Ott.
Yeah.
After she bobbled it, still able to make the play. shot a laser across the infield.
I see Mackenzie's brother out there looking for her ball, being a good younger brother.
He might want to put some pants on out there. You don't know what you might pick up out there in that left center field area. First pitch there to Caitlin Olinger is a strike. One and one the count right now to Olinger from Cora Boyle, who has pitched the last 3 innings of this game, 4 innings.
3 innings. Yeah, I think she got 4, 5, 6, and now 7.
One and two the count. Ooh, there's a late drop on that one that made that ball look very appealing to Olinger. 2 and 2 now the count. There's a pitch fouled off. I imagine those girls are starting to feel the effects of that sunshine right now too. That's pretty brutal out there.
Yeah, it's nice that getting some other players in at the same time, giving some of the regulars, I guess, a little bit of a break. That's all right.
2 and 2 the count. Outside. Yeah, as you look around, there is not a single. Well, I take that back. There's 2 players. No, 1 player that's in a position that they're normally in a game, and that's Mackenzie James in center field. That ball's fouled off. Mattiot, who's come in to play third. Let's go around there. Mattiot's at third. Peyton Drefke at short. Lauren Sandholm at second. Ellie Lorenz at first. Boyle still pitching. Addie Starr at catcher. McKenna Vallejo in left. Mackenzie James in center. And Addie Pollock in right. Pitch swung on over there. Ott picks it up once again. Throws it across the infield. And Jags look to maybe turn 2. But that was a situation there with Ott gets the out. That's we just talked about that. That runner does not exist.
No, the runner doesn't matter. You just make the out there. Outs and runs. I always used to call it. It's like you just sit there and when you're up that many, just take care of the outs that you need to take care of. Some of those runners don't matter.
First pitch from Boyle. They throw back, trying on the throwback behind the runner there, Batterson, and that was a strike to Lainey Moore. Jags trying to close this one out, move their record to 24-4. Here's the 1-1 from Boyle. Swung on, that's lined out into center field, and Mackenzie James can't quite make the play. That's going to be extras there for Moore as she goes into second standing up, and James got kind of a late jump on that one looking into the sun. That does not happen to her very often.
No, yeah, I think she was staring back to the sun a little bit and then just kind of going against her backhanded side, which is a little tougher usually, and laid out for it, but she just missed it.
Warren comes in to run for Moore. And Van Lanningham steps up to the plate. First pitch right down Broadway for strike number 1 from Boyle. That's up the middle, and Sandholm can't quite backhand it, and another run's going to come around to score for Davis County. So, they're not dead yet. Davis County continues to chip away. They put together a nice last couple innings here.
Nope, they're going down swinging, and you can appreciate that. Teams, sometimes they get down, somebody need to kind of get defeated, but Davis County, has just stayed right in it.
So Dunleavy watches that first pitch for a strike. Boyle has got ahead of the batters for the most part today, but Davis County team, 8 hits. They continue to, like we said, go down swinging. How you mentioned literally.
Yeah, literally.
That pitch is going to be a tough one, too. Ott picks it up. There we
Good
go.
scoop.
Matty throws it over to Lorenz at first, and the Jaguars improve their record to 24-4 on the season. Davis County Mustangs are going to fall to 18-3. They lost to Ankeny earlier today. So all in all, a good trip. I think Davis County and Estherville Lincoln Central probably both learned a lot about their teams in these games. Certainly nothing to be ashamed about. They're playing the number 1 and number 3 ranked teams in Class 5A.
That's quite a challenge, but kudos to them for stepping up and doing, and getting into that. And you get better by playing good teams, and learning, okay, this is where we, like you said, this is where we stand. These are the things that we can work on to get better. And they might have taken the losses today, but I'll bet they can go back and go, hey, we learned some things today. We know what we need to do to be competitive, and we're going to see these teams more than likely at the state tournament, I would imagine, here in another couple weeks. So they're only going to be better for it in the long run.
So it is now time to name our Lamberti Goki Lucci Law Player of the Game, and I don't know how you don't give that to Mackenzie James.
I definitely would go there. When you go 4 for 4, 2 home runs, a double, and a single, and just their defensive effort, and she almost completely sealed the deal there on that last diving play that she almost made in the outfield on that hit. But Mackenzie, her progression today, and just what we've seen over the years, but definitely for today and what we've seen, her effort, no other place to go but to her.
So congratulations to Mackenzie James, our Lamberti Goki Lucci Law Player of the Game on this rare Friday afternoon matinee doubleheader for the Jaguars, winners over Estherville Lincoln Central, the Midgets, and Davis County Mustangs. The ladies head out to clean up the fields right now. Our next production on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire, will be, I believe, Tuesday night. There's a baseball game against Dallas Center Grimes. It's a rain makeup. And then Wednesday night will be senior night here at for the softball team, but also that night the baseball team is playing here against Ankeny. So a couple big games that night. We'll make sure all the action's on somewhere. I haven't come up with a plan for that yet, but we'll make sure everything is out there in some form or another. We want to thank Cash Von Bali for on the board today, keeping us on the air. Ellie Pollack and Bella Anderson for running our cameras. For Kevin Fisher, I'm Andy Pollack. This has been another production of Girl Dad Media here on Centennial Digital, driven by Freedom Tire.
Summer sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses: Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Fiscus Jewelers, Rainbow of the Heartland, the all-new Prairie Trail Sports Complex, All-Star Concrete, the Zoom Room, Knockerball 118, Heart of Ankeny Animal Hospital, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, and Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel.
DeArmond certified used vehicles aren't the same as the rest.
Every DeArmond certified vehicle receives a 175-point inspection and comes with a 12-month, 12,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty, a 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and DeArmond Care. Wheel, dent, windshield repair, repel paint and windshield protection, and a full tank of fuel.
Buy with confidence, knowing you made a wise decision with DeArmond Certified.
Find DeArmond certified used vehicles at DeArmondFord.com.